going on to the AMC family? In today's video, we are going to be talking about the manipulation for the AMC share price through the dark pools, and we are also going to be talking about how the AMC price is not able to go up. However, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so the first reasoning for why this doesn't make a lot of sense, and the author of this article did not even talk about this, but I'm just bringing it up. We're at 405,000 AMC members, which congratulations to all of us. Everyone that is a part of this movement is truly helping out the momentum for this stock. And so therefore, we have 405,000 members, but just a few days ago, we were at 390,000 members. And so while the AMC share price is decreasing slightly on a day-by-day basis, why is the AMC members increasing by thousands of members every single day and each and every day? So that's what I'm saying. Don't let all this market manipulation fool you, because this makes a lot of sense for why the AMC stock price is not moving a lot, but rather it is actually going through a lot of consolidation. And so now let's go ahead and read what this AMC member is trying to say about the AMC price. So he says that I think I found out how they are dropping the price now. This could be evidence of market manipulation. And again, he does not talk about the 405,000 members and how the AMC share price decides to decrease on a day-by-day basis. But again, that was just a quick side note. The price is being manipulated, but not how you think. Buy, hold, this is the only way. So he says that earlier today, he noticed an odd phenomenon. And so beside the time to the buyers and the sellers, purchase logs were letters. Some showed an I and some showed a W. So one of these were the buyers, one of these were the sellers. And so right over here, we have the chart and we have the buyers, the sellers. And so there is actually some letters behind these buyers and sellers. So what does this all mean? And so this explains the manipulation. So the blatant illegal manipulation by Citadel, 94% of the share volume was buyers, and yet the AMC price declined by 8% on the day. How is this possible? 398,709 AMC shares were bought, but not reported until after the market closed. The order flow of these shares manipulated in an offline dark pool, so the 398,000 buys raised the price by just 1 cent. Just one example of Citadel's illegal activity. And so this was a time when AMC stock, again, 398,709 shares were bought. Don't get me wrong, they were bought. However, the price declined by 8% on the day. And so the manipulation day by day, if it doesn't make any sense to you why the AMC price continuously decreases, you are not alone, because most of the investors that are a part of the AMC movement, they know that something is going on, and what is going on? It is the dark pools that are truly controlling the AMC price right now. But don't make the mistake of saying that it is just the dark pools that are completely changing the AMC stock price, because you have to understand the dark pools, while they do have a good percentage of the control of the AMC price action, I believe they have 60% of the AMC price action, meaning 80% of retail traders, they own AMC stock. However, 60% of hedge funds in the dark pool actually control the price movement, or in other words, the price action of AMC stock. So the remaining 40%, that is actually by a lot of the institutions, and that is by retail traders. And so what happens sometimes, and I am not saying that this always happens, but I do hear the argument quite a lot that it is just the dark pools and that it is just the hedge funds, when it is not 100% just them. Because the retail traders, sometimes what the day traders decide to do is sometimes when AMC stock has a lot of supply zones, for example, supply zones are resistance zones. And so when the AMC day traders see that AMC stock is at, let's say, $62 a share, they want to cash out. And so why am I talking about $62 to $61 a share? That was because around the time AMC stock had an extreme difficulty breaking that level. And so that was a combination of the hedge funds. That was a combination of the liquidation by the banks. And that was a combination of the AMC day traders, because the level 2 was indicating that there was a lot of selling going on around the $61 to $62 level. And if you guys don't know how to know when there's going to be a lot of selling going on in the market, depends on what type of account you guys have for your brokerage. For example, there's Robinhood, WEBULL, Fidelity, etc., etc. In my opinion, for the level 2, the best one is WEBULL. And if you guys would like to sign up for WEBULL, you guys can do so by clicking the link in my description. But I'm just giving that as a quick note, just because $61 a share, I remember all those times, and I'm actually going to be talking about the AMC chart in just a few seconds, so that you guys can understand how difficult it was to break that level. And so that was one example of the market manipulation. And so going back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the video, there were letters behind the buyers and the sellers for the level 2 data, because what this AMC member was talking about was he was trying to study how many buyers and sellers there were for AMC stock. And so what he was noticing was that there was actually letters behind the buyers and the sellers. And so one of the letters he talked about was the letter I, and then another letter was actually the letter W. So I indicates odd lot trade. He basically explains what the definition of that means. So he says that round lots are defined by the exchanges and generally refers to quotes to buy or sell 100 shares of a given security or a large number of shares divisible by 100. So for example, you need a lot of shares. Let's say you have 400 shares, and this would be an example odd lot trade because it is a large number of shares that can be divisible by 100. And so odd lots or orders for fewer than 100 shares are not included in the NBBO and are not currently distributed by the SIPs. The support page even includes a helpful little chart. And so this is actually extremely important information. If you have fewer than 100 shares, they are not included in the NBBO and are not currently distributed by the SIPs. So the odd lot trades, it will not be included. What does that mean? This is another example of how the dark pools win more often than not, because if they have fewer than 100 shares, it is not even included. And to some extent, this may even negatively affect the retail traders, just because if these do not affect the price of AMC stock, a lot of retail traders, they actually have shares of AMC stock that is less than 100 shares, right? They purchase on average maybe 50 shares per transaction for AMC stock. That is just an example. And so if these transactions though do not affect the AMC share price, then the AMC share price won't really increase over time. And so that is going to be yet again another form of manipulation, unfortunately. And so going off of that, it says that when retail traders buy stocks, the trade is identified as an odd lot trade because they have fewer than 100 shares. And so when stocks are purchased via odd lot trades, it doesn't always positively affect the price. This is what we were just talking about. And so when the buying pressure is led by odd lot trades, it could negatively affect the price. And so right over here with the level 2 data, there are letters next to the buyers and sellers. In other words, these are shares that were not purchased in quantities of 100 or more, and that is because if it is less than 100 shares, then it is 1 share, 2 share, and then there are also more like 3 shares, 53 shares, 16 shares, 10 shares, and even selling 10 shares. And then another example would be buying 25, buying 9 shares, buying 83 shares, and then once we get to 100 shares, there is no letter next to this buyer. And so if we just go a few buyers down, there were 25 shares purchased, then 100 shares purchased, and these have letters next to the buyers. And so very quickly, I'm just going to read just a few more paragraphs because I do believe that you guys understand the manipulation at this point. The point is that 94% of its share volume was buys, and yet the AMC price declined by 8%. That is not really that normal. Another conclusion that this author makes is that a typical stock trade on the United States stock market has about 20 to 30% retail ownership, and institutions/hedge funds usually hold the other 70 to 80% of shares. When institutions/hedge funds buy and sell stock, they do it in round lot trades or blocks of 100 shares per trade. This is what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. And so retail investors have less capital than institutions, and with most stocks of value, cannot purchase 100 shares at a time or per transaction. That makes a lot of sense. And so when retail investors buy and sell stocks, they typically do it in smaller increments than 100 shares. Since the order is less than 100 shares, it is classified as an odd lot trade. And what makes AMC unique is retail investors own the float. We already know this because 80% of the retail traders own AMC stock, yet 60% of the price action or the price movement is actually controlled by the hedge funds like Citadel. And so this AMC investor says that yes, there is dark pool manipulation being used to drop the price, but the hedge funds did not make AMC go from $28 to $72 a share. We did. And so with that being said, AMC members and AMC family, we still need to do our job by buying and holding this stock if that flows with your own plan, because everyone has their own plan for any underlying equity, not just AMC stock. So make sure you guys follow your plan. But this is a buy and hold for me, and we can make this stock go all the way back up. But in times like this, it is difficult because we do have market manipulation, but we did it once where we got AMC stock from $28 to $72 a share, and we can do it again. So with that being said, AMC stock family, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next video.